Sure.
front of your plane.
Yeah, exactly. Probably if you stand out here would be a really good angle.
See the plane.
It's really soft.
What's he getting in the shot?
Come out here and land had to be pretty good.
Why is our dad getting somebody else's family photo album?
Don't walk and put on your jacket at the same time, Terry.
Okay.
Stay right there.
Yeah.
Stay right there.
It's slick.
Slick as it can be.
I cannot believe it. There's another one coming in again. How's that cabin pressurized? No. What's the cruising speed most of the time when they're flying? About 110 knots. And not very fast. charges off, don't you?
Coal washers. The Buckeye shovel. Sutton Post Office. What's that over there? A Chickaloon bunkhouse.
Schoolhouse? Much room.
So it's a bunkhouse. There's a coal washery. How are you?
Good. Just wanted to ask if you got back to the Athabascan Lodge in the back end corner of the park.
Have not. We just got here.
Alrighty, good.
Old timers. Used to be the restroom. Memorial Garden. Fire ring. This is the Athabascan Winter Lodge.
Bunker than the cabin.
That's a rag and mink there, boy.
That's what you need to do there, is get your team of dogs.
No, no, I don't. I can't handle the two that I got.
Well, you don't have to handle these, you just point them in the direction you want them to go.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's a bed there now.
I don't think that's original.
No. I was looking at that. It just covered the rest. We probably added this to it. None of it don't look original. This is not original.
The Ahtna Athabascans of the Chickaloon area spoke a language and preserved a unique culture found nowhere else in the world. The Ahtna have persevered as a people and a society despite all of the drastic changes brought upon them by the arrival of colonists from Russia, Europe, and
Steam
the
room.
United States. The construction of the Alaska Railroad in 1917 and the Glen Highway in 1941 ended the isolation of the Ahtna people and changed
Looks
forever
like the
the
fireplace.
structure of this Ahtna region. Elder Catherine Wade,
You talking about the
wrote in the
Indians?
book Chickaloon
Yeah.
Spirit, Chapter 6. The earth is for all of us. Everything on the earth has a reason for being. All the animals, birds, plants, insects, even rocks have a reason to be. Humans were placed here as caretakers. Wherever we traveled, we left the area better than we found it. We trimmed dead branches off trees so they could grow healthier. We burned up the dead logs and cut down the dead trees. When we had it looking real nice and all those jobs were done, it was time to move on. The next time we passed through that area, we'd find a different place to camp and take care of. While we walked through the woods, we picked dead twigs from the trees and broke them into short pieces to leave on the ground. It made the trees prettier, the trails safer, and the twigs quickly mulched into good soil to feed the ground.
Clouds are covering up the mountain.
but she weighs over 600 pounds. So she is more than ready to start breeding, and hopefully next spring we'll have another calf from her. And the females usually have one calf. They very occasionally can have twins, but it's very rare. Alrighty. I'm gonna get a little bit closer and see if they'll head on up. He's looking out of the corner of his eye.
Signal.
Yep, he's actually being wonderful right now. He's not being aggressive at all. So if you guys want to move on up a little bit.
I'm not scared.
Alright, honey. Move. Okay. Other way. Actually, that walk that he's doing is not typical. It's very much he's trying to be like, I'm a manly man, like, I'm a big old bull. He usually does not walk like that. Females are just annoying him. Look away. This is already awkward. He's like, come on. Don't make me lose face, honey. Yeah, actually though. That's probably what's going on. Please.
She's like, I miss my hair up.
You owe me for this. Please.
Really got telepathy going on.
And she's he's giving her the stare. He just promised her something. Alrighty guys, so we'll try to scoot along this side of the fence line here. I'll let you know if he's looking a little too grumpy. And yeah, so just stay as far away from the fence as possible. We'll just walk on by. He's being really great. He's not even looking at us. He's saying like, I'm perfectly okay. Looking at my face, I don't even need to look over there.
It's 5:50. We're at the Anchorage train station. 5:50 in the morning. There's a train out there. The Alaska Railroad. See?
Got it.
Oh my gosh,
Why did you
already
bring
it's
that?
starting.
Maybe.
No, or moose.
Yeah. the train depot. We're moving.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board the Alaska Railroad. My name is Emily, and I'm going to be one of your onboard tour guides today. I'm also joined by Bobby, who is up in Gold Star Car A right now, as well as Rebecca, who is in Adventure Class. Now, before we get rolling too far into our journey today, I do have a couple of quick safety announcements and reminders for everyone on board. First and foremost, the Alaska Railroad is a non-smoking facility, so this will include in the restrooms, as well as the open air vestibules, and for those of you up in Gold Star, the observation decks. Now, throughout the train today, you are more than welcome to go to those open areas to get some fresh air. However, while you move about the train, we highly recommend and encourage utilizing 3 points of contact at all times. Now, this will include 2 feet on the ground, as well as 1 hand on the seat backs or guardrails to kind of guide your way. Now, when moving about the train today, we also encourage you to keep your shoes on, especially when we spot wildlife. It can get very exciting, so we want to make sure no one gets a stub toe or anything of the sort. We also have a couple pinch points and tripping hazards on board today, so please be sure to keep an eye on your surroundings. We also discourage running today, and if you're traveling with any children under the age of 13, we would greatly appreciate it if you would stay with them at all times. They're more than welcome to go to the restroom on their own. However, if they want to explore the train, we would encourage them to stay with you. Now, on board today, we are fully equipped with a variety of medical supplies, including our first aid kits, our medical kits, our oxygen tanks, as well as our AED machine. In addition, all of our onboard staff today in blue is fully trained in AED, first aid, and CPR. Now, if we have anyone on board today who is certified either at this level or any level above, if you would please let us know. That would be fantastic. All we'll simply need is just your level of certification, your names, your seating assignment, and how far you're going to be riding with us today. Now, in the case of an emergency, you may have noticed the emergency exit windows located on either side of the train. These are going to be marked by the black seal, the red letters, and that red handle. Now, in the case of an emergency, we'll go ahead and pull down on those handles. And depending on which car you are in, they're either going to fall inward or outward. However, I do warn you, they can become quite heavy. In fact, some of the bigger windows, especially up in Gold Star, can weigh over 200 pounds. So in the case of an emergency, I highly recommend utilizing the help of a neighbor. However, we don't really anticipate anything going wrong today. It's been pretty smooth sailing so far. Now, for those of you up in Gold Star, don't worry. You might look down and think, oh my goodness, that is a serious drop down. I do not want to be hopping off the train. Don't worry, we have our ladders up here underneath some of the seats, and so in the case of an emergency, we'll go ahead and extend those ladders downward. There will be no need to jump off the train. Now, for those of you up in Gold Star, please keep in mind there is a bit of a lift to step down from your seating area into the aisle, as well as there's a bit of a ramp right next to your bar. Please do be careful of those, as they do like to trip people. Also on board today, we have a variety of doors up in Gold Star to be able to utilize the observation deck. There's going to be a button next to your left hip. All you simply need to do is push that button and those doors will open automatically. We also have a variety of other doors as you make your way throughout the Gold Star and Adventure Class doors, some of which are going to be automatic, where you simply push a button and they'll open, and then they'll close automatically, whereas some of them are going to be manual, and those you will have to close behind you. One registered pilot for every 70 Alaskans. In addition, we also have about 1 aircraft for every 70 Alaskans.
Some people consider some hills mountains.
The reason why Alaska is exterior portions. Ooh, we have moose off to our right-hand side. They are rated out at our 3 o'clock position. Down way in the marshy areas. There are 2 moose down there.
Way down there.
We're going to have to peek through the trees. We have another moose off to our left-hand side. He's in the marshy area. Very little guy, but he's going to be rated about our 6 o'clock position. I think 7 o'clock position now. He's kind of moving through the marsh, the pond area, and the tree line.
He's way over there. You can't see. Need binoculars to see that thing. Yeah.
Sometimes you're able to see the Arctic tern. Arctic tern is a mesmerizing little bird as it has the longest migration path of any bird in the world. Travels over 24,000 miles round trip between Alaska and Antarctica. Now, due to its migratory path, it'll actually experience more daylight than any other creature. Oh, yeah. The fascinating thing about this little bird is even though it's migration.
We'll get some good pics off of that.
Oh yeah.
It looks like waves breaking.
Seen that many of them. I think your book says what this dead spruce forest is.
Alright, so we're just making our way towards this third stop. So we're going to need the Iowas between cars B and the open air vestibule clear, as well as near car C. We're only going to be stopped here for a very short time, so there's not going to be enough time to get off the train. However, be sure to keep on the lookout off to the right-hand side for the moose. Oftentimes while we're stopped here, we're able to see at least 1 or 2 wandering around. We'll see if they make an appearance today. Popular place to fish for hooligan. Hooligan is a very oily fish, so most people don't usually like to eat it. but a lot of people fish for it to use as bait for halibut fishing. And the native Alaskans, the Tlingits, they used this hooligan fish a while back as a candle, and that's why it also gets its other name, candlefish. As they used it as a candle, they just took a piece of spruce bark and put it inside its mouth, and then they lit it like a candle, and it burned just fine. However, now we have better smelling and more effective candles, so I'm sure they use those instead.
Get some good pics on that.
A little bit past the bushes there, it looks like there's 2 of them. Or maybe even 3. I can see 3 sets of ears there.
4 of them.
So hopefully everybody back in adventure class can see them there, as we have kind of passed them. But it looks like our engineers have slowed down just a tad, so that anybody could see those. Hopefully we'll get another chance to see some more moose as we go along. They do really like this area, as they like to eat the low-lying shrubbery around the water, and they also like to eat the algae in the water. So it's a perfect place for moose to hang out. And here off to our left-hand side, just about our 10 o'clock position, we do have Skookum Glacier. Skookum in Athabascan means reliable or good. So if you have a reliable or good friend, you have now learned a new word to call them. They are a Skookum friend. And usually when it's cloudier out, you can see that very beautiful glacier blue color. But we are getting some lovely sunshine, which we won't turn away. But anytime you see blue ice, that's a glacier. We don't usually point out all the small glaciers because they're small glaciers and we have a lot of more bigger glaciers. So we point out the larger ones like Skookum Glacier, and we have 3 other larger ones that we'll point out on the way. Here on Trail Glacier, we are only going to be having 2 really good openings. So be sure to keep those cameras out and ready, because you will only get those 2 openings. Looks like our engineers are slowing down just a bit, so those openings can be just a little bit longer. Personally, my favorite opening is the second one. As you can see, the beautiful landscape down below, as well as the glacier in the background. So here's that first opening in Gold Star B. And Gold Star A should be reaching that second opening soon. And Adventure Class should be reaching it any moment now. So you might be able to see why we call this Trail Glacier. It's because it looks like there's a trail right down the middle of it. And that's because this used to be 3 mountain peaks.
Okay, well.
And through time and through erosion, that 3rd middle mountain peak just eroded down into that small raised section of dirt that looks like a trail. So that's why we call this Trail Glacier.
Okay, Robbie, turn around. Turn around.
We're going to be able to see the glacier right when we're on the bridge, and also when we get off the bridge, but only for a short amount of time. So be sure to get those cameras out and ready. And we'll see that right after we pass by our Spencer Whistle Stop. Now this whistle stop is an area that you can stop by on our Glacier Discovery train. And you can come here to Spencer to take a rafting trip down the Placer River. Or you can come and take a wonderful guided hike. It is a beautiful place to be. You can go to Spencer Lake and you can kayak there. It's just gorgeous. They do have a lovely Spencer Bench cabin, which is about 5 miles up the mountain to our about 7 o'clock position. And you can rent that cabin from the National Forest Service. However, the only way you can get to it is you have to take the train to Spencer, and then you have to hike that 5.2 miles up to the cabin. But it is brand new, and they did just do some remodeling on it, as well as we did have heavy snowfall in this area this winter, so it was a little bit damaged, but it's all fixed now and ready to go.
How did they get snow?
And we did just pass by that Spencer Whistle Stop there on our left-hand side. And if you ever get the chance to take our Glacier Discovery train, I highly recommend coming here to Spencer. It's a beautiful place.
5 miles into the glacier?
And here, off to our directly 9 o'clock position, you can see that gorgeous Spencer Glacier.
Okay. Turn around, Russ.
And you'll
Right
be
here.
getting
Turn
some
around.
views of it for the next few minutes. Now this glacier was named after Edward Spencer. He was an old railroad worker. In fact, he was the time card collector. So he would collect time cards, and he would go through and he would pay the workers in gold flakes or gold nuggets, because they didn't use currency at that time. So one day, he decided to take a shortcut over the glacier to make it from Camp 52 to Camp 57. And he also decided to take that shortcut at night. So his first mistake, taking a shortcut at night. His second mistake, taking a shortcut over a glacier. He actually wasn't found until about a year later. And he was found about a mile off the face of the glacier. He did die of hypothermia. However, some people suspect foul play because they did not find his gold box with him. So if you do ever come here to Spencer on our Glacier Discovery train, and you take that nice little hike here, and you find the gold box, remember your lovely tour guide Rebecca that told you about it.
Find hills like this in North Carolina.
Of our 5 tunnels here in this area. So it will take just a minute, but be sure to get those cameras ready, as we will only have about 8 seconds. Alrighty folks, there it is, down to our left hand side. This is our best view because there's not as many trees or plants in the way, so you can get a gorgeous picture of that Placer River Valley Gorge. And as I said, it does end quickly, so we don't have that view anymore up in Gold Star, but in Adventure Class you should be able to see it still. However, when we exit out of this 5th tunnel, we will be crossing over the Placer River. So on either side, you'll be able to get a lovely picture of that Placer River.
Turn around, Mark. Get over.
to the Placer River, off to our right hand side, you can see a large cement pylon. And that was part of the remnants of the loop that used to be in this area. So that loop, again, it went all the way around this valley. It even looped over itself. And it was made out of wood, so they actually had to carry water buckets throughout the time that they were on this area, because if sparks flew off the track and hit the wood, that means fire. So they had to dump water whenever sparks would fly off so that the wood would not catch on fire. However, the S-curves don't have really any wood except for the railroad ties underneath, so I think we'll be just fine without any fire.
About to get your shot right here.
What's that?
The locomotive. The engine.
Curve. They're talking about with a glacier back over and get
They're off to about our 4 o'clock position. You can see a beautiful waterfall. That is Elena Falls, and it was named after one of our supervisors on board. She's not on board today, but she was a tour guide 10 years ago, and she actually named this after herself. She loved this beautiful waterfall, and it didn't have a name. So one day she just decided to name it after herself because it was just so beautiful. And we also kind of use it as a joke because Elena's quite clumsy. So Elena Falls has a nice ring to it. And right now we are on the curviest portion of our S-curves. So be sure to get those nice pictures of the locomotive as we curve around. And soon we will be seeing Bartlett Glacier. Right now it's going to be off to our left-hand side. We can't really see it now as it's blocked. But we will see it right before we make this turn. And then once we make a turn to the right, you will be able to get that golden picture opportunity with the train and the glacier in one picture. Now this is going to be a short opening, so be sure that you are prepared.
Sure which side though. Left side.
Alrighty folks, so right there off to our left hand side we're starting to get some wonderful views of Bartlett Glacier right there in the valley. Once again, that is a Piedmont glacier. However, you can see several hanging glaciers surrounding that Bartlett Glacier. And this glacier is the closest one that we have to the track. It's actually just about a mile away from our closest point. So right now, we're curving to the left, and you can see that beautiful Bartlett Glacier. And as soon as we make that curve to the right, that's when you're going to be able to get the locomotive and the glacier. Now, if you're planning on getting this picture on the way back, if you're taking the train back with us, I would think again, as you won't actually see this wonderful view on the way back because the way that the valley is angled. So you only get this on the way up. So be sure to get that picture now rather than later.
Yeah. I got 3 of them. The glacier will be on your right. There's a glacier right there. I got some good shots of it. There you go. You got some good one right there. Stick it right there.
Wow.
And off to our right hand side we have a wild Alaskan mountain gnome. He has that yellow hat on. His name is Nomeo. And he resides normally in Nome, however he likes to vacation here. He does move around a lot, so he is nomadic. Snow White Falls, and this is one of my favorite, as Snow White Falls is named because it has 7 tiers, just like Snow White had 7 dwarfs. And some people also like to call it the Crying Falls because it has 7 tiers, but I like Snow White Falls better.
All these old obsolete poles, got the insulators still on some of them.
So we're starting to see the top and bottom tiers of that Snow White Falls, but right as it gets directly to our 9 o'clock position, you will get the beautiful and amazing Snow White Falls. And soon we will also be able to see our trail glacier, and that is going to be on our left hand side once again. It'll be in just a few moments. But be sure, while we're waiting to get to Trail Glacier, be sure to be looking out for those bears, as bears do like to hang out in this area, especially black bears. Trail Glacier, we are only going to be having 2 really good openings, so be sure to keep those cameras out and ready because you will only get those 2 openings. Looks like our engineers are slowing down just a bit, so those openings can be just a little bit longer. Personally, my favorite opening is the second one, as you can see the beautiful landscape down below as well as the glacier in the background. So here's that first opening in Gold Star B, and Gold Star A should be reaching that second opening soon. And Adventure Class should be reaching it any moment now. So you might be able to see why we call this Trail Glacier. It's because it looks like there's a trail right down the middle of it. And that's because this used to be 3 mountain peaks. And through time and through erosion, that 3rd middle mountain peak just eroded down into that small raised section of dirt that looks like a trail. So that's why we call this Trail Glacier.
Turn around. Turn around.
Alright, thank you.
Big city of Seward. Look at that fjord. That wall straight up.
Ooh, and I'm seeing some jellies in the water. They look like lion's mane jellies. Pretty big jellies. They range in color from sort of brown to pink or reddish in color. These pillow basalt cliffs at the height of summer are the perfect habitat for our night birds. Hundreds of them come to these cliffs, nice and quiet. We don't want to disturb these animals. Above eye level. Oh, there's a puffin right in the water right in front of us. We're going to pull up in here. This is a popular nesting crack for some of our puffins, and I do see quite a few. Yes, hooray. Okay, lots and lots of horned puffins on the cliffs. It's what is about to be our 12 o'clock position. These are horned puffins. So they're the little black and white birds, seabirds, They've got bright orange feet. All in this crack. Look for their bright white bellies. They're up on the cliffs in the crack. Look for those orange feet, bellies, white bellies.
Apparently they don't care if there's a boat 15 feet from them. One sitting on that ledge right there, 2 of them sitting over there. A bunch of little guys.
There's also a nice look at a single common murre at about our 1 o'clock position. It's a black and white bird. It's a cousin of the puffin.
folks, just a quick announcement here. Looks like we've just about got everyone through the line for the first time. So we will open it up for seconds, thirds, and all you can eat. The only thing that we ask, each time you come through, do grab a new plate. That is an Alaska State Health Code.
Seal sitting on the ice right now. Everybody's looking at whales out there.
Well, folks, unfortunately, we are going to have to paddle away. It's just looked at my watch. It's 4 o'clock already, and we're still in Ialek Bay. You know, some of you have some pretty sensitive transportation needs with the Alaska Railroad. Don't worry.
Yeah, sure
We'll get
do.
you back on time. We're relatively close to it. Such a beautiful day out here. It's hard to leave.
Glacier was also used as a footpath. Now, as you can imagine, it's pretty hard to climb up a mountain to get to the other side. Now, people would actually use the Trail Glacier as kind of like a little path out there. It's a lot easier to climb up that dirt than up the rugged rocks in the mountains or the ice in the glacier, so you use it just to get to the opposite side. What was known as the loop. The loop was used for escape. Hard time traveling along a very steep grade. They didn't have as much horsepower as our diesel electric engines do today. The loop was kind of like a big wooden roller coaster that sat here in the middle of the mountains. It was kind of strange. It worked just like a parking garage. You went in a big circle, descended a level, or went up a level. To be on the lookout on our left-hand side and over the glacier on the right. We also have our wild Alaskan gnome out there. He's sitting out in that little pond on the rock. That's Nomeo. He's our nomadic gnome from Nome. He's got a big old yellow hat. And he's been hanging out in this little pond for a couple days now. And said that he stays still for us as we go by because he doesn't like to be watched when he's moving around. This is a little joke that we have here in the railroad. Our engineers like to go out and looping around this little area. They picked the perfect spot for him, in my opinion. It's pretty cool just kind of like these guys on the little island. Towards the end of the S-curves here, you can look out kind of towards the back of the train. Once we make this final curve, you want to look out the right-hand side. We get some perfect views of the Bartlett Glacier the farther away we get, just because it's a little less blocked by those two rocky hills out there. Keep your eyes peeled. You can see it has a lot of that glacier still built up towards the bottom. That gets deposited into the Glass River and eventually makes its way all the way down into the Turnagain Pond, which we'll see on our journey as we make our way through the river. Review up here in the cold star cars down in the Glass River Gorge on our right hand side. As we make our way into our second tunnel, this is actually the longest out of all 5 tunnels. I like to compare it to an Alaska winter. It's very long and very dark, so watch your step if you're walking about. Get a couple other viewing opportunities as we travel through these tunnels, so keep your eyes peeled. Again, on that right hand side of the gorge, putting up on one of those waterfalls here on the left.
Sits out down there, way down there. Yeah, look how beautiful down there.
A little bit short. Make sure you have your cameras not down. Keep your eyes out on the right hand side, kind of towards the front of the train, right before we enter our 5th and final tunnel. We'll be getting a look at how deep the color blue is and by how large it is. Now, the deeper the color blue and the bigger it is, that means it's pretty new. It's very young.
And from here, the gist of this game is pretty much he's going to jump over the stick. He's going to flick the stick back without touching the ground. and then he's going to make it balance after.
Being down on top of the ice, and a fox or like a wolf or some type of animal is trying to like sneak up on him, and he'll notice that, and he would have to spring up onto his feet as fast as he can to avoid the danger. And so that is the kneel jump without the running. And so the kneel jump, we start off from a kneeling position with our feet flat right beneath us. And we spring up onto our feet, also trying to go as far as we can. And springing up onto our feet like that is a lot more quicker than bringing one leg over after the other. And so we do a standing broad jump, jumping forward, landing on 2 feet, and then we jump again forward, landing on 1 foot, maintaining our balance. And we have to stay firmly planted on the floor. We're not allowed to wiggle it or anything to catch our balance. It has to stay firmly planted on the floor. Once we find our balance, we stretch out our body as far as we can, twist the object down, and walk it out. And then another athlete will come around and do the same thing and places that object even further.
So how many of you guys think you'll be able to do these games? The person that's on the bottom, feet up so it can be parallel, and then for me, I'm going to pretty much be on top, and then from here, we try to have our feet parallel to the ground so our whole body is just parallel. And this is the balance game. So I can't guarantee that it'll be done right the first time, so bear with us. We had that for like a half a second, so I hope you guys got your Kodak moment.
So this next game that we will do involves this ball right here and this whole kickstand right here. And this next game was a way to signal to the community whether we had a successful or an unsuccessful whaling hunt. And this next game was a way to signal to the community that it was an unsuccessful whaling hunt. And this is called the 1-foot high kick. And for the 1-foot high kick, athletes are given the option of a running approach or standing in front of the target. The object is to jump up with 2 feet and kick the target with 1 foot and land on the same foot that you kick the target with. So you kick the target with your right foot, you land on your right foot. Kick it with your left foot, you land on your left foot. Doesn't matter which foot you use, just as long as if you land on the same foot that you kick the target with. And so this was a way to signal to the community that it was an unsuccessful whaling hunt. And so when a whaling crew is out whale hunting and they chase the whale, but the whale that they chase gets away, they would send their highest kicker to the highest point towards the village. The highest kicker will jump up there 1 foot above his head, signaling that they chased the whale but it got away. We have 2 styles of the 1-foot high kick. We have the Canadian style, where we jump up with 2 feet and kick the target with 1 foot. Here in Alaska, we have the Alaskan style. We call it the traditional 1 foot, where you take a hop on your kicking foot, jump up in that kicking foot, kick the target with your kicking foot, and then land on the same foot that you did everything else on. So that is the traditional 1 foot. The traditional 1-foot high kick requires a lot more speed and a lot more strength to your kicking foot. The Canadian style is a bit easier. And so these games that we are showcasing are not only done here in Alaska, these games are also done in Canada by the Inuit people. all the way to Greenland, Scandinavia, and some parts of Russia. And so these games are a circumpolar northern regional games. The different cultural groups in Alaska, the different colors of the map up here represent the different cultural groups. And the different cultural groups here, we all have our own different types of games. And these games that we are showcasing, they originate from the darker orange part of the map way up north, also from that light orange island up there, St. Lawrence Island. They are the Yup'ik and also the St. Lawrence Island Yup'ik people. The Yup'ik, the yellow part of the map here, they all have their own different styles of games also. The interior part of Alaska, the red region, most of their games are all like strength games. Along the ocean chain here, their games are like dark games because their environment is mainly water. And so they have to be really good and accurate with their harpoon throwing or their spear throwing. And so most of their games here are dart games. And in the southeast part of Alaska, their games are gambling games. Bingo. Are there any questions? Yep, so the women's world record is held at 7 feet 10 inches, held by Melanie Curtis from Alberta, Canada. And we'll tell you guys the men's world record after we are done. So that right there is about 7 feet 10 inches, 8 feet, 7 feet 8. That's up to the athlete. So it's an athlete's preference to kick with shoes on or kick without any shoes. Both Austin and I, we like to kick bare feet because we feel a lot more lighter and more flexible on our feet. I used to kick with my shoes on, but one year I forgot my kicking shoes back at home in the village, and since then I've been kicking bare feet. And every time I kick with shoes on, it feels really weird and I feel really heavy with my shoes on. So when a whaling crew went out whale hunting and they successfully caught a whale, they would send their highest kicker to the highest point towards the village. The highest kicker will jump up and down getting his blood flow going. And after he gets his blood flow going, he'll reach into his pocket and pull out his cell phone and text, "Hey, we caught a whale." No, that's today. But back in the day, they throw 2 feet above their head, and that is the 2-foot high kick. It's a little too high up there to demonstrate it right now, but we'll do it shortly after we are done with the 1-foot high kick. And on 2 feet.
here for traveling by paddle. You can paddle upstream or whatever. And then, of course, today we have motions for, well, driving your car in Anchorage, so. Or the tiller or boat. So if you got the motor, in the water. Things we do, of course, the typical bow and arrow. You'll see that in the motions. Or maybe a harpoon that we still use today. And then, of course, today we have the lever action rifle. So you see that too. Motions for looking around, that's pretty easy. Motions for listening, motions for singing, motions for dancing. Yep. And then there's all kinds of motions. So the reason that we're showing these motions is because later on we'll teach you a song. But again, we don't make anybody ever dance if you don't want to. But if you feel like you want to, coming up, then we'll give you that opportunity. So again, we don't want to chase people away. There's always about that time in the performance when like 4 or 5 people get up and walk away. It's like, no, you don't have to do it, so it's okay. The next song we'll do for you, what's that? Oh, I guess I'll dance this time. And when we started to revive music and dance in our area, it's about 30 years ago, it was with the help of the Tlingit people in the green, and also the Yupik people. There's a man named Tuna McIntyre, who's a composer from the Yupik culture. He was invited down to Kodiak and by our elders to help jumpstart music and dance. And this song I'm going to do for you is one of the songs he taught us. And I remember running into Tuna at the airport. He lives in San Francisco today. And I ran into him in the Seattle airport and thinking, oh, hey, Tuna McIntyre. Hey, I'm from Kodiak. We still do your songs. You taught us over 30 years ago. I just have a question. Do we do the songs the way you taught us over 30 years ago? And he smiled and said, oh, no. I said, well, we got time in the airport. Why don't you teach me again? And he said, no, absolutely not. I gave those songs to your people to make them your own. And that's exactly what you did. So you did a wonderful job. And so the song's called Kuya Na Na Na. So if we say Kuya, that means thank you. And so we're thanking the Creator for the tattoos that we would traditionally have on our face, the little breaks in our lips that we would traditionally have. We thank the Creator for the vision into the distance, and then we put, you'll see put my hand on my chest, to my heart that beats in my chest, and then I raise my hand to the Creator for all these things. So to be grateful for all the things we have. I get to dance this one.